Pregame.com.
Welcome back to Pregame.tv. We're shifting gears. We're in the NFL. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo, joined by Ken Thomson and Bryan Leonard in studio. This is going to be Brian's play. We got the San Diego Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs. I'll tell you what, the San Diego Chargers, I wish I had to frequent Flyer miles this season, because if you've seen the schedule this team has had to go back and forth. They're playing this week. This is their fourth road game out of the last five. And none of them have been short stops. They're all coming back east. They went to Jacksonville, then the next week went to Washington, home to Denver, then on the road to Miami, and then this week to Kansas City. What do you make of this San Diego team? Because it's a team that's been, at times this year, looked like the San Diego Chargers of old, and at times have looked like the San Diego Chargers we've seen the last couple of years.
If I'm the owner, I'm making them freaking walk to Kansas City. The team pisses me off, man. They're the worst. I mean, actually the best 4-6 team you will ever see. So much talent, and they find ways to give games away. They've given away 4 games this year, and screw it. They don't deserve the playoffs. That's just the way it is. They're 4-6. They're a joke.
I have a feeling that some of those 6 you were involved in.
I was involved last week against Miami. No, I actually won. I actually got lucky on a couple of their games, but the Houston opener. I mean, there's a bunch of games they gave away.
The Washington game was hideous.
Yeah,
the play calling at
the
end of that game.
If you're I'm just saying, if you're a Charger fan, and I'm not, I actually had them against the Colts, the game I was at, and I'm a Colts fan, so I hit that one. But if you're a Charger fan, you got to be pissed off. This team should be no worse than 6-4. They are 4-6. They are out of it now. They're done because it's too competitive as far as the wild cards. They've fallen too far behind.
Now, shifting gears, Brian, we've got Kansas City. We talk about the Dream Crusher game in college. You don't do that in the pros because you're going to make the playoffs and work your way through. But from the mental standpoint of Kansas City, all year they were undefeated, but everybody was still bashing them because they were winning games they should have lost. They were getting out yarded. The defense saved them several games. Then you go in and play the first really big game you had, and you get beat. But really, if you want to say, did they have a moral victory in that game? They only lost by 10. They were in the game most of the way. Do you say they come out of there with more confidence or less confidence?
Yeah, I think they're pretty confident coming out of there. And getting back to the San Diego Chargers, we talked about the frequent Flyer miles. Luckily, they won't have to worry about that once the season's over because they're not going to the playoffs. But, you take a look at the Chiefs. They were very competitive in that game, and they never got to Peyton Manning. That was the big deal. Kansas City has put so much pressure on quarterbacks this year, and they couldn't get to Peyton Manning with a bad ankle in bad weather. I don't know if they look at that and say, damn, I said, what we really do well, we didn't have success on. But they may take a look at it and say, you know what? We didn't have success on what we do well, and we were still in the game.
There, right.
Yep.
But do you think part of that, do you think some of it was in the play calling where, you didn't want to sell out, and try to blitz him and then leave yourself exposed to a guy that, in unfairness to Peyton Manning, he was doing a lot of 3-step drops and releasing it because of the ankle. And if you expose yourself, Peyton Manning's a guy that can burn you on a blitz if you don't get to him.
That's exactly what the Denver game plan was. They wanted to protect Peyton Manning, so they kept extra guys in, and so they didn't take too many shots downfield. When they did have success. But it wasn't your typical Denver offense. In fact, you're watching that game, and if you're playing live betting on that, you were waiting for Denver to open it up, and they did have that one pass with about 2 minutes to go in the first quarter to get that first touchdown. But they were being pretty conservative in that game plan. There's also.
No doubt. No doubt. When they run no Sean Marino on first down and second down to leave Manning only one passing down on third, they're definitely trying to shorten the game. They know they're in control. They got it up to 17. Then all of a sudden, if you're laying the points like I did, you're down to 10. Then you got to stress on KC's last 2 possessions. They had a chance to cover. Alex Smith looked like the Alex Smith that played a couple years ago for San Francisco. He manages the game well. He can do the bootleg. He's dangerous. He's efficient, but he doesn't take shots down the field. If he can do that a couple times and complete a couple to Bo, he missed Bo a couple times when Bo was open. Of course, Bo was just loving that he was in Colorado because everything's legal there. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Brian? This is your free pick, so let's make it official.
All right, going back to the Kansas City San Diego game here. And speaking of Dwayne Bowe, I tweeted out during the game, I said, man, that guy's smoking. But actually, a better tweet came back to me. Somebody had said, they said, you knew he was going to have a big game because they were playing on grass. Anyway, I want to take a look at the under in this game. You got two defenses that are susceptible to the run. As good as Kansas City's played defensively this year, most of it has been against the pass. San Diego's completing 67% of their passes this year. Excellent. But you take a look at the Chiefs, they're only allowing an opponent quarterback rating of 63.4. League average is about 80, so they defend the pass very well. Both teams, as I pointed out, have some weaknesses against the run. I think both teams will run the football. I don't think Kansas City is going to come out with anything new offensively in this game, especially when they are playing Denver again next week, and that's a bigger game for them. So I expect a conservative game plan for both of these teams, and I look for the under the points in this one. That's the way we're going to play it.
All right, great stuff from Bryan Leonard. We're going to come back. We're heading to Carolina at Miami. Is Carolina for real? We're going to talk about that next. Pregame.tv.